Good morning, class. So today I am going to discuss to you chapter 1 of micro perspectives of tourism. And this chapter 1 is entitled The Psychology of Tourism. So at the end of this chapter, all of you are expected to discuss the factors that motivate people to travel, explain the relationship of needs, wants, and motives to tourist motivation, describe the push-pull model, explain the relation between Maslow's hierarchy of needs and the travel motivations listed in travel literature, describe characteristics of psychocentrics and allocentrics. Next, we have to identify the characteristics of travelers based on purpose of travel, and lastly, analyze the travel constraints. Okay, so to begin with, we have here the motivation for travel. Okay, so what motivation for travel? These are said to be motives or reasons why we travel. Okay, this is the things that pushes us to travel. Okay, number one, we have roots or ethnic. So how does this roots or ethnic becomes a motivation for travel? So when we say roots or ethnic, this means that um, we have this desire to revisit our homeland or our previous residence of oneself or our one's ancestors. Okay, so if you have this desire to reconnect with your roots, so of course you need to travel to that destination. Okay, another one, we have maintaining social contacts. So when we travel to other places, to other destinations, so it's or we cannot avoid that we would be able to socialize with other people. Okay, so if you are very sociable, so you really wanted to maintain social contacts with other people, so you travel, right? You visit different places. Then another one, status and prestige. Status and prestige means this includes desire for continuation of education. So example for this is for personal development or ego enhancement. So it's like you have the desire for recognition and attention from others for you to be able to boost your personal ego. Okay, so status and prestige can somewhat be um, similar to business or professional. Okay, next we have self-discovery. So self-discovery, there are some people who uh, travel to other places for them to be able to really discover or know their true self. Diba? Sometimes when we travel, doon natin nalalaman mismo na, ay, ito pala ako, ganito pala yung gusto ko, ganito yung hobbies ko, ito yung hinahanap ko. So, you were able to discover really your true self. That is with travel, okay? So, kung kailan ka pa nag-travel, dun mo pa nakilala talaga yung totoong ikaw, right? So, next, we have cultural. So, for cultural, this is when you have interest in historical, artistic, heritage. Okay, heritage of one's destination. You have the desire to see and know more about other cultures, to find out about the natives of a country. So, yan, cultural. Okay, so yung mga mahilig sa history, okay, you happen to visit yung mga historical places. So, that is one of the reasons why many people travel. Okay, then we have education. Education happens when you travel across international borders to acquire intellectual services. Okay, like for example, in US or in other foreign countries, it is said to be that education is very expensive, and so many people there would travel to Philippines just to study. Okay, so one reason why they travel to other places because of education. Okay, then next we have professional and business. Okay, some people or many people would travel because of business purposes or professional, like when you need to attend meeting, conventions, okay, seminars. So, yun. Then we also have wanderlust. So, those people who would wanted to explore the world, travel around the world. So, that's wanderlust. Okay, so next we have interest in foreign areas. Okay, so those who are interested in foreign areas. Okay, you wanted to see European countries like that. So for you to be able to do so, so you need to travel, of course, diba? So you need to visit really the place for you to be able to experience those places. Then lastly, we have scenery. Okay, so I know that all of you are into social media, di ba? So marami tayong nakikita sa TikTok, sa Facebook, na mga videos wherein they feature yung mga places. Like for example, yung sa Batanes, di ba? So napaka-relaxing, napakaganda ng place. Okay, so sometimes it parang pushes us to go to that place kasi napakaganda ng tanawin, 'di ba? So really scenery could be one of the major, okay, motivation for travel. Okay, so actually marami pang mga reasons or motivations why people travel, and these are just some of those motivations. Okay, next. Okay, we have 4 classes of travel motivators. Okay, 4 classes of travel motivators that includes physical, cultural, interpersonal, and status and prestige. Okay, so when we say physical motivators, okay, this includes those related to physical rest, sports participation, beach recreation, and other motivations directly connected with health. Okay? So, when you travel to other places to participate yung mga, for example, sa mga competition, like sa sports, okay? So, sports participation, pwede din yung kapag magta-travel tayo to experience physical rest, okay, relaxation, when we go to beach, okay, so that's for physical. And then we have cultural. So for cultural motivators, these are those included here are those desire to know about other countries. Okay, that's what I've mentioned earlier in sa cultural. Okay, yung music, art, dances, paintings. If you are really yung kumbaga curious sa mga food ng mga ibang countries, diba? So parte ng cultural motivators. Okay, the religion, practices, beliefs of other countries. Yun. Then interpersonal naman, this pertains to this desire to meet other people. Okay, if you are really fond of socializing with other people, meeting other people, visiting friends and relatives, okay, when you wanted to escape from daily routine, okay, you wanted to escape from family, from neighbors, kasi sobrang stress na, so you travel, okay, you travel to meet other people or new people. Okay, so that is for interpersonal motivators. Then lastly, status and prestige. This is concerned with ego needs and personal development. Okay, yung sa professional, business purposes, like that. That includes under status and prestige motivators. Okay, so next, let's proceed to the next slide. Okay, still, this is under psychology of tourism. The travel as a means to satisfy a need and want. Okay, travel. They say that with travel, this satisfies our need and want. Like we need, like for example, we need rest, diba? We need rest, relaxation, kasi we are really exhausted from work, from school. So, yan. Anong ginagawa natin usually? We wanted to visit other places na pwede tayong mag-rest, mag-relax, like that, diba? So, we do travel, okay? Ganun din sa wants. We want to see foreign countries, we want to go to European countries, we want to see the Eiffel Tower of Paris, like that. So, we travel, okay? So, when we travel, that satisfies our need and our wants. Okay, so nakalagay dyan that the key to understand tourist motivation is to view vacation travel as a vehicle to satisfy one's needs and wants. Okay, so para maintindihan daw natin yung tourist motivation, so we have to see vacation travel as a tool. Okay, yung parang yan yung magiging way for us to satisfy our needs and wants. Okay? So, tourists do not go on vacations just to relax and have fun, to experience another culture, or to educate themselves and their children. So, they take vacations in the belief that these vacations will satisfy, okay? Remember, satisfy either completely or partially various needs and wants. Okay? So, meron tayong main goal kumbaga. So, bakit tayo nagta-travel? Okay? Kasi gusto natin, kasi kailangan natin. And so, we travel kasi gusto natin na masatisfy natin kung ano yung needs and wants natin. Okay? Understand? So, that is for that part. Next, relationship of needs, wants, and motives. Okay, how do we explain this relationship of needs, wants, and motives? Okay, for this one, so needs, wants, and motives, they are interrelated with one another because sabi nga natin, 'di ba, needs and wants, we cannot achieve our needs, our wants in life if we don't do something. Okay, may motives. Okay, my ways. Okay, so like what I have explained in the previous slide, when we have needs or wants in life, so we need to do something for us to be able to satisfy those things. Okay, so through travel, we were able to achieve needs and wants, right? So of course, very important itong motivation. Dapat may motivation. Okay? May motivation sa sarili natin for us to be able to get our needs and our wants. Okay? So next, we have the push-pull model. What do you think is this push-pull model? Okay? While push-pull model, this is of course part pa rin to, diba, sa tourism, like we're in this has something to do with travel, with tourism. Okay, so nakalagay dyan that push factors are internal factors or personal needs why people travel. Okay, so push factors, or we say that these are personal needs. Okay, while yung pull factors, or ito yung external factors or attractions which brings us to certain, or which draws us to certain destination. Ito yung parang humihila sa atin, 'di ba? Para pumunta sa isang lugar. Okay? So ano yung factor na humihila sa atin para ma-visit natin yung isang lugar? So we have attractions. So, attractions, pwede siyang maging man-made, cultural, okay, ano pa, events, like that. So, later on, we will discuss the different types of attractions. Okay, yung sa push naman, internal factors yon, yung parang, ano yung mga needs natin, di ba? Like, for example, need to escape, self-discovery, rest, relaxation, prestige, adventure, yun yung mga internal factors. Okay? So, yung sa pull naman, external factors, ito yung kumbaga yung bagay kung bakit tayo pumupunta dun sa lugar na yon. Okay? Yun yung mga attractions, yung scenic beauty, yung historical areas, the cultural events, the sporting events, all of that. Okay? So, next we have Maslow's theory of motivation and travel motivations. Okay, so there are several reasons why people travel, diba? Sabi natin. Okay, so Maslow's 5-level hierarchy of needs remains one of the most broadly accepted theories applied by researchers, okay, for us to understand human behavior. So, due to its wide scope, okay, yung theory ni Maslow has often been used sa field of tourism, since the hierarchy of needs helps clarify travelers' varied motivations and thereby explains tourist travel behaviors. Okay, so here, as you can see in this illustration, okay, I'll make it bigger so it will be clear to everyone. Okay, so in this hierarchy, as you can see, we have five distinct level of needs, in which the fulfillment of one need leads to another on a higher level. So pag nasatisfy na natin yung pinaka-bottom na need, like which is the physiological, so we now proceed to the next level. Okay, thus that forms a hierarchy. Kaya siya tinawag na hierarchy kasi from bottom maakyat tayo from bottom maakyat tayo to higher level. Okay? So hanggang sa ma-achieve na natin yung pinaka-top. So Maslow named the first set of motives as physiological needs. Yung pinakababa, yung nasa red. Okay? So that is the physiological needs. So pag sinabing physiological needs, these are associated with individuals' basic needs. Ano ba yung mga basic needs natin? We have food, shelter, and water. Okay, so applying the same concept to the tourism industry, physiological needs are the basic needs that travelers expect destinations to meet. Okay, so these requirements include various facilities provided to travelers during their stay at the destinations. So, syempre, when we travel, di ba, nag-travel na tayo, we went to a certain place or a certain destination. So, syempre, as a traveler, para masatisfy natin yung physiological need natin, so we tend to look for destinations that has suitable accommodation. There is potable water and restaurants providing good food and cuisine. Syempre, di ba, sino ba naman ang ayaw sa masarap na pagkain? Kumbaga yung mga basic needs natin as a human, syempre gusto natin yung masasatisfy tayo. Okay? So these needs are so basic in nature that they can be regarded fundamental motivations for all travelers. So ito talaga yung hinahanap natin, di ba, sa isang destinations when we travel to a certain place. So dapat masarap yung food, merong potable water anytime, if we want to drink water, may available, and of course, yung sa shelter, accommodation. So, syempre, we tend to look for accommodations na comfortable tayo. Okay? Yung makakapag-rest tayo ng maayos. Okay? So, yon. Then, if we are unable to meet already these needs, itong sa bottom, so we proceed to the second need. Okay? Second need in Maslow's motivational pyramid is associated with travelers' safety-related issues. So, destinations can attract many visitors only if magpro-provide sila ng safe, secure environment in which travelers feel protected from any threats during their stay. Syempre, as a tourist, tayo, di ba, kung tayo yung turista, when we visit a place, so we make sure na nandun tayo sa very safe and may secured yung environment. Okay, na ma-feel natin na protected tayo from any threats during dun sa stay natin. Okay? So, yun yung hinahanap din natin sa isang destination. Okay? For us to satisfy our safety needs. Okay? So, when visitors are convinced that destinations facilities will remain stable and look after them during their time there, so the probability that they will choose those destinations is higher. So, pag nakita natin na, ay, ang ganda dito kasi safe, ang ganda ng environment, parang, malayo ka sa mga threats, sa mga disgrasya and all. So, there's the possibility that in our next vacation, we happen to revisit the place. Parang, yun yung nasa choices na natin, nasa option na natin pag maghahanap tayo ng places or ng destination. Diba? Kasi alam natin na safe yung lugar. So, we tend to go back to that destination. Okay? So, positive response in the form of tourist inflows will also be stronger for those destinations. Okay? So, pag madaming tourist na nagbe-visit doon sa destination, okay? So, that means nasasatisfy ng destination yung needs ng mga tourist. Kasi nakita nila na maraming dumarating o pumapasok na turista sa lugar nila. Okay? So, the third need. So, when we now successfully achieve the first two needs, physiological and safety, we'll now proceed to the belongingness and love needs, yung third need, yung nasa green. Okay? So, this refers to forming relationships with people to create sense of social being and confirm their ability to develop healthy relationships. So social belonging plays a clear positive role in motivating travelers to visit destinations. Individuals tend to travel to specific places to develop strong bonds with family and friends or to become familiar with destinations, local communities. Siyempre, gusto rin natin, di ba, sa isang lugar na when we visit a certain place, very welcoming yung mga tao, friendly, yung ganun, because meron tayong need na, yun nga, we wanted to form relationships with other people. Okay? Now, we wanted to create a sense of social belonging. Okay? Kaya tayo nag-travel because gusto nating masatisfy yung need na yon. Okay? So, hinahanap natin yun dun sa destination. Okay? So, next, once this motivation is satisfied, na-satisfy na natin yung belongingness and love needs, so the fourth motivation arises, which is associated with self-esteem. Okay, let's now proceed to the fourth need, esteem needs, yung sa color blue. So, the fourth motivation arises associated with self-esteem. At this level, people travel in order to impress friends, relatives, social groups, and other people to gain higher social status. Okay? So, that includes dyan yung prestige, yung feeling of accomplishment. Okay? So, parang yung self-confidence natin, okay, na-develop, okay, with travel. So, that is why we need to, syempre, di ba, as a human being, gusto din natin na ma-develop yung personality natin as a human being, and so we travel. Okay, we use tourism for this need. Okay, then the final need in the hierarchy is self-actualization. So travelers see tourism as an activity through which they can improve their special skills by doing something that is quite challenging to these individuals. So self-actualization, yung sa pinaka-top, okay, can also be related to activities in which people get involved in doing something that benefits society. Okay, so achieving one's full potential, including creative activities, self-actualization. That is the last need. Okay, and to this original list, meron tayong two intellectual needs na additional. Meron tayong to know and understand, that is acquiring knowledge, and aesthetics, which means appreciation of beauty. Okay, so next, so if you have any questions with this hierarchy of needs, you may comment in our GC or ask me personally sa messenger. Okay, so another, we have Maslow's needs and motivations listed in travel literature. Okay, as you can see on this side, dito sa ito, under sa need, ito yung needs natin: physiological, safety, social, self-esteem, self-actualization. Then these are the motives, yung mga things that we need. Okay, so with physiological, like for example, we need relaxation. What are we going to do? Okay, ito yung mga activities na pwede natin gawin for us to be able to achieve, okay, our need. Okay, for security, so yan, health, recreation, we travel for health, we travel for recreation, we travel to keep oneself active and healthy for the future. Then for social, love and affection, yan. So, we travel to, you know, make our family bonding more stronger, okay, family togetherness, enhancement of kinship relationship, companionship, and etc. And self-esteem, yan, you convince oneself at one's achievement, show one's importance to others, prestige, social recognition, ego enhancement, professional business. Okay, so self-actualization, ito na yung personal fulfillment. So since we were able to achieve the previous needs, so yung pinaka-top, when we reach this top stage or level, then we can now say that we are already fulfilled with all our needs. Okay, then next, tourist motivation. So again, these are those reasons why people travel: the need for escape or change, travel for health, okay, sports, social contact, status and prestige, travel for education, personal values, cultural experiences, shopping and bargain hunting, professional and business motives, search for natural beauty. Okay? So, the learning process of a tourist. Okay, learning process of a tourist. So, an individual, sabi nila, will buy a vacation package if he or she has learned that the purchase will satisfy an important need. Okay? Alam mo yan? So, those people tend to have vacation, okay, if he or she knows that that vacation will satisfy an important need. Okay? So, tourist compares various alternatives or options with a list of criteria to determine which alternatives will most likely satisfy a particular motive. Okay? So, when we travel, syempre, di ba, hindi tayo yung basta-basta na lang agad-agad magde-decide na, dito ako pupunta. So, usually, we have some choices of alternatives. May mga alternatives tayo kung saan-saan tayo pupunta. So, isipin natin, so, saan kaya doon yung pinaka magandang lugar, ano kaya yung pinakamagandang lugar na pwedeng puntahan for me to be able to fully rest or fully relax, di ba? So, ano kayang lugar yung makapagbibigay sa akin ng full relaxation or rest, yung mag-enjoy ako and all. So, yon, di ba? So, we will compare various alternatives. Okay, and then, resulting inclination will have an effect on the decision to buy. Okay, inclination may be positive or negative depending on how well a chosen alternative will meet the motivation. So there are a number of alternatives that will vary according to the characteristics of travelers. Okay, so travelers who have previously visited many foreign destinations, okay, yung mga may experience na sa mga foreign countries or destinations, meron silang mas maraming choices or alternatives to choose from compared to those na wala pang experience, di ba? Kasi hindi pa nila alam kung paano sa ganitong lugar, ganitong destination. So, destination will be included as an alternative. So, if yung destination has previously satisfied the traveler, so, the probability is that babalikan niya yung lugar, di ba? Yung level of satisfaction depends one's expectation of a situation as well as one's perception of an actual situation or expectation. Okay, yung sinasabi dito is that meaning once nasasatisfy tayo ng isang destination, okay, na-meet natin lahat ng needs natin and wants. So there's the probability that in our next vacation, we happen to go back to that place or destination. Okay? And on the other hand naman, if we are being dissatisfied, hindi tayo na-satisfy sa mga services or sa destination, then the probability is that hindi na natin siya babalikan. Siyempre, di ba? So, we tend to look for another destination. So, siyempre, yung level of service na binibigay sa atin ng destination, kailangan yun, they give that great importance, di ba? Bibigyan nila ng great importance para ma-assure nila yung quality experience and high level of satisfaction. Okay? Because if there is quality experience and high level of satisfaction dun sa tourist, sa traveler, so that will bring us back to that destination. For sure, di ba? Babalikan natin yung destination. Kasi maganda yung experience. So, we wanted to again experience, okay, sa next vacation. Okay, yung satisfaction. Okay. So, effect of consistency and complexity. Okay. What do you mean by complexity and consistency? Okay. For this, sinasabi dito that consistency, meaning to say, yung paulit-ulit lang, like if you happen to visit a destination, pag magbabakasyon ka, yung paulit-ulit lang, dito ka always pumupunta, like pupunta ka ng dito, example, pagpili tayo ng lugar, example sa Europe, so Paris lang, always lang, pag gusto mo ng foreign country, sa Paris ka rin pabalik-balik, diba? So there's consistency, parang naboboard ka na, diba? Kasi paulit-ulit na lang. So you wanted to experience naman complexity. Okay? So yung complexity, ito na yung yung may mga different May yung mga hindi ba familiar sa atin, okay? Like for example, yung Filipino tourist happens to visit Europe. So, syempre sa Europe, di ba? Meron silang different language, French. Okay, yung culture nila iba. So, kumbaga, we need to adjust, okay? Kasi hindi pa tayo familiar dun sa language nila. We are not yet familiar with the culture, so there's complexity, okay, compared to those destinations that we are already familiar with. So walang struggle, kumbaga there's consistency because we are already familiar, okay. So ano yung effect nito sa leisure travel, ha? What do you mean by this? If there is consistency, syempre tourist or traveler tend to become bored, 'di ba? So hindi siya masyado mag-enjoy sa vacation kasi na-experience niya na, 'di ba? Tapos uulitin na naman. But then for those complexity destinations with kumbaga complexity, so parang nagiging challenging, 'di ba? Nagiging challenging sa isang tourist kasi hindi pa niya na-experience, never in her or his entire life na-experience na yung activity. Okay? So there's complexity. So syempre mas challenging and mas adventure yung may complexity, unlike dun sa consistency. Okay? So classification of we'll move it here. Okay? Wait. Classification of travelers based on purpose of travel. So we have business travelers, okay, and pleasure travelers. I believe pleasure travelers. Okay, so we'll start muna with business travelers. Okay, business travelers include regular business travelers. What else? Business travelers attending meetings, conventions, and congress, and incentive travelers. Okay? So, this is based on purpose of travel. We classify travelers based on purpose of travel. Meron namang classification of travelers based on personality. Okay, later on, we'll talk about the personality. So, dito muna tayo sa purpose of travel. So, business travelers, from the word business travelers, ito yung mga tao na nagto-travel for business purposes. Okay, so we have different types of business travelers. Meron tayong regular business travelers naman attending meetings, conventions, and congress, and lastly, we have incentive travelers. Okay, so regular business travelers, okay, pag nagto-travel tayo for business purpose, usually, di ba, yung cost of the trip is shouldered by the company. So, masaya kasi lahat is being paid by the company. Wala tayong gagastusin except dun sa pangpasalubong, kailangan natin ng mga pocket money, 'di ba? So lahat 'yan, even contingency, merong binibigay yung company when we are in travel. So volume and rate of growth of business travel is not affected by the cost of travel. So kahit na gaano pa kamahal yung gasolina or yung mga food or kung ano ba mga services na pwede nating makuha sa destination, kahit gaano pa tumaas 'yan, hindi maapektuhan, 'di ba? Yung volume tsaka rate of growth ng business travel. Kasi syempre, people will not think about expenses kasi lahat naman is being paid by the company. So, business travelers are well-educated. Sabi nila, well-educated. Pag sinabing business travelers, they are well-educated, they are rich, they have high-level jobs, and they tend to fly often. Okay? Yan yung mga characteristics nila. So, for female business travelers naman, sabi, they are slightly younger. Okay? Tend to stay longer at the destinations. If you are to compare with male business travelers, yung mga female daw, sabi na mas younger sila, and they usually stay longer at the destinations. And usually, pag female business travelers, single, okay, single yung status, then they are likely to attend a meeting or convention. Then travel is usually booked by a travel agent. They prefer downtown accommodation, closer to work, and more concerned with safe accommodation facilities. Okay? Ganito yung characteristics ng mga female business travelers. Okay? So yan, many airlines and hotels are exerting efforts to cater to the business executive travelers. So airlines have been offering first class seat service and first class passenger lounges in airport terminals to these travelers for many years. So, more recent innovations include special check-in arrangements, bigger seats, sleeper seats, and many hotel chains have begun to allocate whole floors or wings of their buildings for business travelers seeking greater luxury in their accommodations. Okay, so the rooms or suites are more spacious, contain more personal giveaways, and they provide their guests with complimentary drinks and express check-in and check-out service. Normally, airline and hotel companies add a surcharge to their regular prices for business executive travelers. So they have achieved great marketing success in doing so. Airlines, particularly in US, have begun to search out and reward frequent flyers by logging their air miles in airline computers. Rewards offered include discounts on future trips and sometimes even free trips. Okay? So yan. Sinasabi dito na yung mga airlines, yung mga hotels, gumagawa sila ng mga promos for business executive travelers. Okay? So, yan, yung mga airlines daw, nagbibigay ng mga first class seat service, first class passenger lounges, sa mga airport terminals, okay? For many years already. So, may mga innovations din sila na may mga special check-in arrangements, may mga bigger seats and others. Kumbaga, well-treated yung mga business executive travelers. Diba yung mga business travelers? Kumbaga, everything is being provided. So, kahit na gaano pa kamahal yan, syempre, i-avail ng mga business travelers yan because they will not anyway spend their own money. Diba? The company will spend for them. Okay? So, yan. Yan, marami. And sabi dito that airlines, okay, have begun to search out, reward frequent flyers. Okay? So, yan, nare-record nila yung mga frequent flyers na nalalag yung mga air miles sa mga airline computers nila. So, with that, pag nakita nila na yung certain traveler is frequently flying na or nagta-travel with their airline, so nagbibigay sila ng mga rewards, nagbibigay ng discounts sa mga future trips, and sometimes pa nga nagbibigay ng free trips. Okay? So, yan yung mga pakulo ng mga airlines, ng mga hotels, syempre para naman continued yung patronage ng mga customers nila, diba? Dapat may mga ganyan talaga. So, yan. Travel poll surveys indicate that 20% of all business travel trips are for the purpose of attending meetings, conventions, and congresses. Yes, 20% ha, out of 100%. So, 20% yan are business travel trips. Okay, so, according yan sa survey. So, 20% are those attending meetings, conventions, and congresses. So, congress, convention, or conference, we mean, this means regular formalized meeting of associations or body or meeting sponsored by an association or body on a regular or ad hoc basis or when need arises. Okay, so conventions are classified into 4 kinds. Meron tayong international, okay? International convention, continental, national, and regional convention. So, pag sinabing international conventions, ito yung mga members ng convention are from foreign countries. Kaya nga international. Okay, class, since nakat yung video kanina, so we'll continue our discussion with conventions. Okay, conventions are classified into 4 kinds. Meron tayong international, continental, national, and regional. So, from the word international, ito yung international conventions where members of the conventions comes from foreign countries. Okay, and they take place in different countries every year. So, these are generally non-profit and attract persons with common fields of interest. And for continental naman, these are delegates coming from a continent, different continents, such as North America, Europe, or Asia. Then for national, these are meetings organized by associations at the certain state, provincial, or regional level. And normally, these organizations hold their conventions within their own regions. Okay? So, like for example, yung sa example ng national convention. Okay? So, like for example, this is a certain organization for tourism and hospitality educators in Zamboanga Peninsula. Okay? So, nagmi-meet lahat ng mga members ng organization and they would meet, like example, usually sa IPIL ginagawa yung meeting. So, Yon, and participants comes from different provinces within Zamboanga Peninsula. Okay, yun yung national convention. Then, we also have incentive travelers. So, for incentive travelers, sinasabi natin, pag sinabing incentive travel, ito yung special type of business travel. Binibigay itong travel na to sa mga employees as a reward for some accomplishment. Or sometimes, if not naman as a reward, binibigay ito to encourage employees to achieve more than what is required. Okay? So, yan. Sorry, hindi pala klaro. So, incentive trips are said to be given for salespeople for reaching a set goal in overall sales of a particular item or in the number of new accounts. So usually, incentive trips last for 5 days and usually include spouses. Diba? Like for example, if you are given a trip to Bali for 2 or trip to Singapore for 2. So usually, pag tayo yung empleyado, so we are given free 2 tickets, free 2 trip tickets. So sinasama natin yung mga partners natin, right? So, price trips are often combined with business and sales meetings, especially those to foreign destinations, in order to be eligible for tax deduction. So, ito yung mga popular overseas destinations: Mexico, Spain, Caribbean, Bermuda, and Europe. This is for US, diba? Yung mga employees sa US. So, within the United States, most popular incentive travel destinations are Hawaii, Florida, Nevada, California, and New Orleans. Dito sa atin sa Philippines, usually nakikita ko yung sa mga nakikita ko sa mga social media, like may mga ganyan, may mga rewards. So usually sa Singapore, sa Indonesia, Bali, Indonesia, diba? So bihira lang yung may trip to Korea, yung ganun. Okay, so usually dito talaga Singapore talaga, diba? Usually. So ito. Then, increasing popularity of incentive travel has led to the establishment of incentive travel organizations. So marami nang nag-exist na mga incentive travel organizations in the world. So, they negotiate with suppliers such as hotels, airlines, para ma-determine nila yung cost of incentive travel trips. Okay? So, thus, they act as specialized types of tour wholesalers. So, to their prices, nag-a-add sila ng markup of 15% to 20% for their services and cost in packaging the incentive travel trip. Tapos, ina-advertise nila ito or pinapakita nila ito sa mga different companies. Okay? So, ito yung mga usual reasons kung bakit bumibili ng incentive travel trips yung mga corporations or yung mga companies. Okay? Kapag number 1, increase overall sales volume, kapag nakapagbenta ng new accounts, kapag naka-improve yung moral and goodwill sa company, nakapag-introduce ng new products, offset competitive promotions, okay, bolster slow seasons, help in sales training, sell slow items, and obtain more store displays and support consumer promotions. Okay, so yan, usually yung mga companies na bumibili ng incentive travel trips, yun yung mga involved sa insurance, sa sales, ganyan, di ba? Sa electronics, etc. etc. Okay, andyan lahat. So, next type of travelers, we have pleasure or personal travelers. Ito yung mga taong nagta-travel for vacation or pleasure purposes. Okay, so they are also called non-business travelers. Okay, so experiences and research have shown that this type of travelers have different spending patterns from business travelers. Dito kasi, di ba, yung mga non-business travelers, very much concerned sila sa increase in the price of travel services. Kasi yung cost of travel is usually shouldered by the traveler himself. So, hindi na to all expense paid kasi yung gastos is personal na. Diba? So, traveler likewise chooses the vacation area. Kasi syempre, kinoconsider niya yung price. Okay? So, traveling for pleasure is the largest segment of international market and the fastest growing. So, there are reasons for the growth, okay, of pleasure travelers. Okay? One is because of the rising income levels in developed countries, urbanization, higher educational levels, okay, increase in leisure time and length of paid holidays. Okay, so pleasure personal travelers are classified into the following categories. We have resort travelers, family pleasure travelers, the elderly, singles, and couples. So yung resort travelers, ito yung mga sinasabi nila characteristics are better educated, they have higher household incomes, and likely etong mga resort travelers are professional and in managerial positions. Okay, so majority of resort travelers, they go with families with children. Okay, pumunta sila sa resort with their families and children. So, for family pleasure naman, this can be divided into 3 groups. Okay, meron tayong junior families, mid-range, tsaka yung mature families. So, these are defined according to the ages of husband and wife and the educational stages of their children. So, pag junior families naman, yung mga parents are aged 20 to 34. Then, they have preschool and grade school children only. Okay, then another for mid-range, yung mga parents are aged 35 to 44. So, with grade school and high school children only. And for mature families naman, these are with parents age 45 or over with children who are of high school age and older. Okay, so siguro tayo, we are or we belong to mature families. Diba? Kasi malalaki na tayo, mga anak. So, you are already in college. Okay? So, usually, siguro yung parents natin are aged 45 above na, no? Okay, so we are, or we belong to mature families, if that's the case. Okay, so family pleasure travel trips motivated by 3 objectives. Okay, first objective, bakit nagta-travel yung meron tayong family pleasure travel? Okay, first objective, they wanted to use travel as an educational experience for their children. And the second is to do something different. And the third is to use travel to bring the family closer together. Okay? There are also major hindrances for family pleasure traveler. Number 1, since shoulder nila yung expenses, syempre isa sa mga hindrances is yung cost of travel. Okay? Particularly yung cost of transportation. Kasi imagine, like, if you are 10 in the family, 10 members in the family. So, airplane, sa airplane pa lang, di ba, yung airfare natin, that will cost too much na, di ba? So, that is why, isa sa mga major hindrances sa family pleasure traveler is yung cost ng travel. Tapos, pagdating pa sa destination, yung pagkain, yung lodging, and all. Okay? So, very expensive talaga. Pero, sabi nga natin, di ba, yung mga family pleasure travelers, usually, ito yung mga may enough budget. Okay? Yung nasa managerial position, yung mga ganun. Okay? So, the elderly naman, sa elderly, okay, ito yung mga matatanda, di ba? So, these are persons in the 50 plus age bracket. I mean, these are those people that are, what do you call this? Who are 50 years of age and older. Okay? So, yung mga retired, usually, retirement age na. Ito yung mga elderly. So, okay, so to continue again with the elderly, so these are said to be those people in the retirement age category. So, usually nasa 50 plus and above. Okay, so the elderly persons are said to be a lucrative target for tourism destination areas. Okay, so those persons in the 50 plus age bracket, they are called as active affluents or those people with the money and desire to travel extensively. Okay, bakit ba kaya maraming pera yung mga nasa 50 plus and above? So usually kasi 'di ba mga retired, so once they receive their retirement pay, so since wala na silang trabaho, okay, wala na silang ibang iisipin, so they would usually spend vacation. Okay, they travel to other countries or other places. Okay, so yan yung tinatarget usually, di ba, ng mga tourism destination areas. Kasi nga, they are said to be have enough money to spend for travel. So, active affluents, generally, they search for learning experiences, cultural enrichment, socialization, and activities which lead to self-fulfillment. Okay? So, another, we have the singles and couples. For singles and couples, this is another important segment of pleasure travel that consists of singles and couples. So, usually, they take vacations to fulfill their psychological, intellectual, and physical needs by giving them the opportunity to rest, relax, escape the routine of pressures of daily living, enjoy the naturalness of life, and to express total freedom. Okay? So, aside from classifications of travelers based on purpose of travel, we also have classifications of travelers based on personality. We only have 2 here. We have the psychocentrics and the allocentrics. So, yung psychocentrics, ito yung mga people centered on self, inhibited, and unadventurous. So, pag nagta-travel sila, they prefer to go to safe destinations. Yung mga familiar na sila. Okay, yun yung mga gusto nila. Okay, yung paulit-ulit lang yung yung pinupuntahan nila, and yung mga activities nila, ganun pa rin. While the allocentrics, ito yung mga people that having interest and attention on other persons. They are highly curious and thrive on stimulation and change. More adventurous kind of traveler. So sila, gusto nila yung complexity, di ba? So ang psychocentrics, gusto nila consistency. But allocentrics, since they are more adventurous, so mas hinahanap nila yung bago. Di ba? They wanted to experience something new. Yan yung mga allocentrics. Okay, so if you are to ask yourself, what do you think, what type of traveler do you think kayo, di ba? Are you a psychocentric or an allocentric? Okay? So, lastly, we have travel constraints. So, ito yung mga main constraints na usually na-experience natin ng travelers. Okay? So, sometimes, gusto nating mag-travel but then may mga hindrances. Okay? Bakit hindi tayo pwedeng mag-travel? Number 1, lack of money. So, without money, syempre, hindi ka makakapag-travel. Anong isa-spend mo? Anong pambili mo ng air ticket, ng pagkain, ng pambayad sa accommodation, di ba? So, lack of money is the number one constraint, travel constraint. Okay, number 2, lack of time. Busy ka, masyado kang busy sa career, sa trabaho. Okay, so wala kang oras for travel. So, another travel constraints. Then, lack of safety and security. Syempre, di ba, if we happen to know that a certain destination is walang safety and security, so not safe for travel, so pwede siya maging constraints, di ba? Pwede siyang sa atin mag stop sa atin na napuntahan yung isang lugar because of the safety and security. Then the physical disability, of course, 'di ba? Pag PWD ka, hirap ka na sa paglalakad and all. So mahirap talaga mag-travel especially if you're alone, 'di ba? Physical disability. Then yung family commitment. So married ka na, marami kang anak, marami kang kailangan mas atupagin, 'di ba? So sometimes iniisip mo gusto mo mag-travel, but then iniisip mo naman na marami kang maiiwanan, may mga anak ka, na may mga responsibilities, like that. So mahirap din, 'di ba? So isa din siya sa travel constraints. Then lack of interest in travel. Syempre, from the word itself, pag wala kang interest in travel, ba't ka pa magta-travel? 'Di ba? Yung wala kang interest to visit other places, so why travel, 'di ba? So lack of interest, one of the travel constraints also. And lastly, yung fears of travel. Kasi may mga tao kasi na takot sumakay ng eroplano, takot sumakay ng barko, 'di ba? May mga fears tayo when traveling. So isa din siya sa mga constraints sometimes, 'di ba? Kung bakit naghihinder na mag-travel tayo sa ibang lugar because of these things. Okay? So those are those are the things that covers chapter 1. Okay? So you may again read the lectures rather, and then if you have any questions, so don't hesitate please to ask me in our GC, or even you may personally message me in Messenger, Facebook Messenger. Okay, so please study again this, and maybe one of these days I will give you some exercises about this. Okay, just be prepared and get ready. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening and for watching this presentation. Okay, bye bye.